First off, I want to say is I'm really glad that I'm not going to be evaluated. That makes me feel a lot better. At least I hope I'm not going to be evaluated. Okay, creating your own speaker events. So why would we want to do that? First of all, let me tell you a little bit about why I do what I do about having my own events. Get a little bit of feedback from the audience, make this a little interactive, and talk about our whys. And then I want to talk about how. And then I have a tool for you. So I'm kind of going to take off of what Michael said earlier, is I'm going to inspire you, motivate you, and give you the tools to do it. And I'm going to just start off with a little explanation, and then we're going to make it a little more interactive. In 2011, I got married to the wonderful, handsome man back there in the hat. And I wrote an ebook on how to plan an event with little or no money through referrals and trade. So our wedding should have cost $15,000, and it cost $2,300.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. And that's when I kind of learned that I know how to put on an event. So 2011, I had a neck issue and I was kind of out and I wasn't networking like I used to. I had a networking business and I was doing 21 events, or 11 events a week, which is a lot. And at that time, you technically only networked Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I was doing between 3 and 4 events a day. And when I had the neck injury and I wasn't out doing it, so in 2012 when I wrote a book and my book was published, I didn't have the contacts anymore and I wasn't out speaking like I was before, and I wasn't selling the book. So a friend of mine said, do your own event, that'll help you sell your book. It's my first event, it only cost me $10,000. $10,000? My wedding didn't even cost $10,000. I said, I don't want to, I could put in an investment, but $10,000 kind of scared me. I could see the look on some people's faces out here when I said $10,000, you went, well, I'm not putting on an event if it's going to cost me $10,000. So I realized I had already wrote the ebook, so I could do this for less money. And in 2012 was the first Power of Words Speaker Summit. It was great. I had 4 other speakers and myself. The reason why I did it at the time was to sell books. What I realized later on is I did it because when I went to speaking events, the audience weren't my audience. They were the people who was putting on the events audience. The other speakers I was speaking with didn't have anything in common with what I had in common. The people in the room were not walking out with things that they should walk out with. And I decided it was more important that the people in the room need to come out ahead than if I had money in my pocket or sold a book. And that the person that I was speaking with needed to be common with me so that it was a win-win-win situation. First event in 2012, we had 75 people in the room and we raised $300 for I'll Be Aware. I'll Be Aware is breast cancer research. Second year, I had 125 people in the room and we raised $450 for I'll Be Aware. First year that I did it, it cost me $1,000 out of pocket. Second year, I broke even. Third year, we just had it this year. We had a new location. The speakers were amazing. It was like one finished the other one's sentence, and the whole event went like this. It was incredible. We had 140 people in the room, raised $788 for I'll Be Aware. It was amazing. I'm sorry, it was $877. Yeah, I was corrected. I was $123 from making my goal of raising $1,000 for I'll Be Aware. It was amazing. The whole thing was incredible. I can't wait to do it next year. What made this year different? Well, the speakers blended together. The everything just blended together, because the more you do it, the more you learn from your mistakes. First year, my major mistake, I brought in this most phenomenal speaker. She came in from Vegas. She was amazing. She was the head of a speaker summit. She was this, she was that. She was great. She got up in front of the room. She was wonderful. Nobody knew her. Nobody knew her at all, so she brought no draw. They really didn't pay any attention to what she had to say, and she walked out without selling a single book or making any money. It wasn't a win-win. So you need to make sure that the people that you have in front of the room are going to do the draw. Second year, my major mistake was staying in the same location I did the year before. But other than that, it was great. But this year, I really went out and pumped it. I really worked on my speakers and stuff, but my marketing was off. I didn't market as much as I wanted to, so I only increased from 125 to 140 in people. And I really wanted to have 200 to 300 people in the room. So I tell you the things that I did wrong, just because I want to open some things up for discussion, and I want to also set things in motion that we can talk about the February 13th event and key this in together, okay? So the reasons to create your own event is so you have control over the audience, so you have the people that are your ideal clients or who you want to reach, so that you can either sell or promote your business or help them get to the next level, and so that they win. I didn't want to be making money for somebody else, spending my talents with somebody else making the money. Now I have to tell you, in the 3 events that I've done so far, my 3 big ones, I've done workshops for years. I've done 2-hour workshops, 4-hour workshops, 1 days, 3 days, and they've all been successful. So I knew how to put the people in the seats. But it's also more important to put the right people in the seats, not just people in the seats. And when you're first starting out and doing events, trying to put the people in the seats is the hardest part. So you need to seat it, and I'll tell you a little bit later how to seat it. But if you do a workshop and you only have 2 people sign up or 3 people sign up, or you got 6 sign up and only 1 show up, which I've had that happen, and even if they pay, that doesn't mean they're going to show up, do the workshop anyway. That's the hardest thing to do, is to stand up here for 4 hours with 1 person sitting in front of you. But I'm telling you, do it anyway, for 2 reasons. 1, the person who's there is going to tell 14 other people, and you're going to have a better time next time. It's a good experience and a practice for you, because a lot of times your very first time doing the workshop, no matter how prepared you really think you are, nerves and adrenaline and all that will change some of that. So the good practice is a good thing. What are some reasons why you think you would want to put on your own event instead of speaking for somebody else? I'm leaving it open up to you guys.
Experience in doing it yourself.
For the experience, yes.
To sell books, tapes, different products you might have.
Okay.
Credibility.
Showing yourself as the expert. Anybody else?
To promote yourself, you may believe that you have something within yourself, but nobody else knows it. So until you get out there and show what you have, you can sit there.
How many of the speakers in the room are like I am, And that when you go to speak for somebody else, say you're speaking for Toastmasters or whatever, do you promote yourself out to your friends? How many promote yourselves? If you're not promoting yourself when you're speaking for somebody else, you should. 2 reasons. One is you're getting your marketing skills and talents because you're doing your marketing yourself when you're speaking for other people. You're doing that, people are going to be looking for it. And then when you have your own event, you've already got a niche market of people coming in to hear you because of marketing, and you're honing in your marketing skills at the same time. So I was marketing myself for other people. So if I was marketing myself for Sam Smith, who was putting on the show and they're getting $20 a ticket, Sam Smith ended up pretty rich that day, okay? And I wanted to take some of my time and efforts in marketing and put it back in my pocket instead of somebody else's. I saw a hand.
Oh, your earlier question about why we would want to do it ourselves. Some of us just like to be in control of our own, of the audience, but also of our own schedules and our, the location, the venues where we're speaking, how close to town. But I love to travel. So yeah, sometimes my very first workshop I taught was in Winnipeg because I had a friend that wanted to have me come up, and I said, oh yeah, I'm an international speaker, of course I can do that. But I just, some of us are just, we like to be in control of all those little details.
Control and all the details. The details are important. And if you're with people that put on shows that miss the little details, this gives you an opportunity to make sure that those happen. Anybody else on why? No? So, who wants to know how to put on an event? And how to get the right seats, people in the seats, okay? Well, I have for you a fun little handout, and it's going to make some people just go, oh my goodness, why? It's a spreadsheet. And for those analytical people, you'll love a spreadsheet. For you not analytical people, just look at it as a tool. Okay, spreadsheets can scare a lot of people, but this is kind of fun thing, the spreadsheet. This spreadsheet will show you what you need to do to put on an event from 5 months out to the day of the event. Okay, and we took the power of words is what I used for this spreadsheet. So there's vendor tables involved in this and sponsors and different things. Now I mentioned earlier that I can put on events with no out-of-pocket, okay? One of the ways to do that is to get sponsors. You want sponsors to help you put on these, to pay for the things for the event. And how you do sponsors is down in the bottom of that sheet, in the corner there is a list of sponsors. You give them things that don't cost you any real money, and in return they give you money and it helps you to pay for the expenses of the event. Okay? Sponsors is a big thing, and the other thing is in-kind sponsors. Who can tell me what an in-kind sponsor is?
Someone that donates something that gives you something in return.
Right. I have a graphic artist that I use for all my events. So the first year she put out a lot because it was her first year doing it. The second year she just kind of took what she had from the year before and changed out the pictures and the names, and here you go. But my graphic artist, because she got top billing on everything, right in her flyers was her logo. So how nice do you think she's going to make those flyers and postcards? She's going to make them really nice because she's promoting herself. So she did all my flyers, my logos, my website, everything in exchange for having a vendor table there and being on all of those things and being in the bulletin and everything else. Do you think she got any business out of it? Mm-hmm. She's been back all 3 years, so I'm thinking she's doing pretty good off of it. And I'm doing great off of it. So I did not have to pay thousands of dollars in the cost of those things because I did it in a trade. Everything I've done, I do in an in-kind trade. I even make an agreement in a trade with the venue. Okay? For our wedding, we had our venue for free because the lady was 20 minutes late showing up to show me this venue. And when she told me, well, I couldn't do it because, I'm sorry I'm late, but I was stuck on something in QuickBooks. And I said, oh, really? Mr. QuickBooks should help you with QuickBooks. And I gave her a referral. He not only helped her with the QuickBooks, but became her treasurer for the next year. And since Mr. QuickBooks was my future husband, we got the venue for free. Okay? So there's a lot of those things. How many are on Facebook and have a bunch of friends and referral sources? And you have people that do graphics and websites and marketing, okay? Use those friends to help you put the event on, okay? Any questions about the handout? %95 of putting on the event is marketing it. And, well, let me change that. Let's make it 75%. Because it's also very important of who you're gonna put in front of the room with you. Or if you're gonna do it yourself, of who is gonna go in the seats. I suggest you do an ideal client dump and really make sure you're focusing on who exactly you want to have in the room. Now I took some notes here. You guys, you can tell I'm from Buffalo, New York, can't you? You guys ain't got no good English. So you want to do a speaker summit and you want to promote the Speakers Bureau, correct? And you want to do this because you want the speakers in the Speakers Bureau to get more jobs, correct? So let's play a game here. Who would be the people you want in the audience to get that?
Organizations that are
Meeting
required,
planners.
that need people to come.
What type of organizations?
You have different organizations. You have women organization, you have co-ed, just depending on
Maybe event
Maybe
planners,
event
planners, and
planner,
meeting
there's so
planners
many
from all different organizations that look for
Organizations
speakers.
that bring
Look
in
for
speakers.
speakers.
To host their
Make
seminars.
sure you're taking right up on the board the different types of organizations and narrow it right down to who exactly are going to use speakers and the type of speaker caliber that you have. You could probably invite every association and organization in the area to the event, but that's not necessarily going to give you the quality of speaking assignments you want to be able to give to the members of the Bureau as well. You see what I'm saying? Did I?
Yeah.
Okay? Because maybe the Association of Home Depot workers might not be the people you really want to focus on. Did that one politically correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I spoke one time for project managers. I found that really scary for me to go up and talk to project managers about networking. But they had me there because they had the need for that. And 4 people in the room needed that. I would not have thought that that would have been a place for me to speak on networking for project managers. Okay, but it turned out to be a great thing. So when you brainstorm of who and all these different ideas come up, really look at who's going to fit for everybody, and that's who you want to pick. Okay? Anybody else besides just event planners and associations?
Other Toastmasters.
Other Toastmasters?
Organization.
What about people who are in business that should be able to grow their businesses by doing speaking and workshops? What about people who are already doing speaking and workshops and events that are not Toastmasters?
Say that again?
Yeah.
People that are doing speaking workshops and events that are not Toastmasters
Yeah.
and
Yes.
people that are Toastmasters. You want people that are never spoke before in their life to people who have been doing it for a long, long time. So if you're going to have that kind of a audience of the people that have no experience, that they're scared to death to stand up here and do what we do, to the people who have done it forever and a day, what kind of content are you going to give them?
Well, for people who are still, who haven't done speaking, the content will be strategies for them to improve maybe, so that they can join the class.
So,
I was thinking that if we inviting people who do events, we want to make sure that what we do has the right kind of content message, because they might invite us to come and speak, and that could be a start for the speakers at Speakers Bureau to be invited to speak at somebody else's event.
all right. You do want organizations like Lions and stuff like that too that hire speakers. But what I'm saying is we're at the content level, that you want it to be where you reach the beginners and the already completely. So how do you do that without the people who have been speaking for 100 years sitting there going, oh, why did I come to this? This is so boring, I know all this already, this is ridiculous that I'm here. Or on the other hand, somebody who's never spoken going, there's no way I could get up there and do this. I'm about to throw up now just thinking about it. Okay? So,
How do you bridge the two?
how do you,
Different,
Dawn?
I was thinking maybe having workshops to focus on those individuals who are the very beginners to those who are the more advanced, because not everybody's coming for the same thing, so you gotta meet people where they're at and provide them with the information that they need.
You can do breakout sessions is a great way to do that. You also have to make it so that the people that are speaking don't speak over the heads of people, but to people. Because the ones who have spoke forever and ever, there's probably one or two things that we forgot that we're gonna gain again. But, and vice versa, that we don't speak too high, that the people who, so you want to get speakers that can speak the level for everybody in the room. So it's up to you to really fine tune your speakers to fit the niche that you want them to cover and do. And it's up to the committee or the people running the event to pick, to really know how to hone in and do that. It's a skill. You can always hire me to come and help you with that. I'm not too expensive. Kidding.
what if you join our club?
I like that. I like that. Okay, now a lot of the how-to is like I said, marketing, and it tells you in here when to do the things, how to, you need to do the press releases, set it out for print ad, do your Facebook, do your different social media, set up a website. Make it easy when they go to the website or whatever to get the tickets and be able to purchase things where they don't have to go 3, 4, 5 different directions to get there. Make everything uniform and combined so your flyers, your website, everything looks the same. And the spreadsheet kind of just breaks it all down of when you're supposed to do all those things. You can change the spreadsheet to fit any type of an event that you're doing. So if you're doing just a workshop and not a big, huge event, you can still take the same spreadsheet and lay it out to when you're supposed to do the advertising, bring the people in, and so on and so forth. So this is a good tool that an organizer friend of mine designed for me. I can't take the credit for it. And she organizes businesses and different people and shows them how to make a habit of organizing. So organizers might also be another person you want to consider in your associations and different people as audience. Also, somebody asked earlier about entrepreneurs is part of the audience, because yes, they need to grow their business speaking, and there you go. Any questions? No questions?
Yes. Here's a question. How do you set the cost of your event?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, there's a couple things you have to get a few things out of your way when you're setting the cost. And the first thing when you're setting your cost that you need to get out of the way is yourself. Okay? So you need to value yourself high, value what you're doing high, but also look at your audience and look at what kind of income source that they have and what they're willing to pay. So you have to evaluate that different ways. On my events, I cost them out low to the people because I want to fill the room with a lot of people because my goal is to help a lot of people. But you also have to do your budget and make sure that everything is covered so that at the end of the day, you either make a profit or break even. Did I answer that?
Thank you.
You mentioned at the top of your speech, or some part of your speech, and how your events, you raise money for a nonprofit.
Yes.
I found a lot of events will include a nonprofit. Do you find that to be a valuable piece in helping?
I think that's a valuable piece, especially in the cost factor, because people will spend money to a charitable organization more so than, okay, am I investing $20 for me to learn more and growing my business, or am I investing $20 that I might learn something more to grow my business and I'm helping a nonprofit? Okay, so they're willing to want to help that nonprofit more so than themselves, and in the meantime, they both get helped. And I'm also very, very big in giving back to the community. That's a number one part of me. I'm a giver, is one of my gifts. And so that's one of the reasons I do the nonprofit part.
And do you find that the nonprofit also help in marketing? Do they become part of that plan too?
If you have the right nonprofit, yes, they do. And you need to also talk to your nonprofits, your speakers, your sponsors, if you have vendors and vendor tables, and give them the opportunity for them to market as well, to grow. Now I send where it says confirm vendors, the confirming to the vendors is an email that's usually about this long, that tells them what they can do on their vendor table for them to make more business, for them to get the leads that they want to do, and in return, what they can do to bring more people into the event. And I give my vendors 2 half-price tickets. And I said, when you got these 2 half-price tickets, you give them to a friend, and you have your friend tell the people that they're sitting with all about your table. See what I'm doing? So they're all trying to help each other, and it turns out to give more people in, and you are actually if you have other people marketing for you, you're doing less of it. And we all have, like I said, we're all on Facebook and different things, right? So shoot it out to some of your friends and say, can you share this on your page? And it'll multiply and grow, and that's a strong way of marketing. Any other questions? I'm really glad I wasn't being evaluated.
Thank you for the timeline. I think that's so effective in making sure that you stay on track.
And there's a lot of little things that you don't think about. And you need to set up your setup committee, your cleanup committee, and make sure you have garbage cans if you're doing a big event. And those kinds of things are things that or you don't think about. Any other questions? If I can take, and just take 1 or 2 minutes, I know I already saw my flash there, so I'm over, but I want to do a little selfish plug for myself. And I've been teaching networking and stuff for 15 years, and this year I closed my business. I just stepped down as a director of a Women's of Faith networking organization, and hopefully by the end of this year, I am opening up a give back to the community restaurant. It's called Angel Platters, a village cafe, where I'm hiring through nonprofits and putting people back in the workforce. And it's a breakfast and lunch cafe, so in the evening time, the cafe's closed. So what better than to have an event center for people to come and nonprofits, speakers, different things, to be able to have events there. Sacramento is very poor for venues of events that are under 100 people. And this is going to be an event center. So it's an event center and a give back where I need speakers to be speaking at, and I need people promoting it for speakers to speak at. And this is going to be a venue that I'd like to, Speakers Bureau, you know, you mentioned that you had me here and maybe I can give you a discount on the event center part, hint, hint. And just wanted to share that that's what we're going to be doing.
And where is that?
Okay.
Okay.
You have a location?
I'm still working on the location. But say a prayer, because I have a location I'm looking at Tuesday that I really, really want. And we have to go over some negotiating, some issues to get it, but it'll be in Citrus Heights if I get that one.